Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of This Week in Philadelphia Sports with myself, Liam Jenkins, where, as you might have guessed it, we go over everything that's happened this week in Philadelphia sports again. Before we get started, first thing, LJ, you're not in your office, you're not in your bedroom. Where are you? Well, I'm still in Prague as of right now, having spent this week covering the Philadelphia Flyers, and there will be a full 10-minute vlog recapping the trip, the highs, the lows, and everything in between, including a drunk soppy LJ. That's coming tomorrow, so stay tuned for that one. But for now, if you're new around this channel and you haven't yet subscribed, it would be amazing if you could. If you can't, don't worry, I don't hold it against you. I understand. We can just move on. It's not me, it's you, or something like that. We're of course going to start though with the Philadelphia Eagles, a team who are coming off a 31-6 victory against the Jets. But the vibe after the game is not one of elation and celebration and party poppers going everywhere. It's instead, okay. While the scoreline may suggest the Eagles were utterly dominant throughout, the reality was something a little bit different, at least on one side of the ball. The offense didn't look brilliant out there. In fact, it looked quite spluttery. It looked like it had a bit of a cold, a bit of a cough going in towards that game, and for some reason they just couldn't seem to find a rhythm. In fairness though, the run game was fairly productive. That picked up 84 yards against what is a fairly strong run defense. It ranks inside the top 5, I believe, coming into this game. So, fair play. Jordan Howard, the bell cow back, 13 carries for him on the day. You really can't complain with that, can you? Another standard day at the office. He averaged 4.8 yards per carry, got his 5th touchdown of the season, which is oddly more than every Chicago Bears running back combined at this point. So, who won that trade? Wasn't Chicago, was it? It just wasn't. But please, for the love of God, stop rushing him on 4th and 1. There is just no need. Teams are catching on to it. It's getting a bit dangerous now. You've got Jordan Howard, a power back, a monster, a bowling ball who can run forward and pick up short yardage. He does it at the goal line. He does it at the 10-yard line. It doesn't matter where he does it, but he does it. There is no need to exploit Carson Wentz to potential further damage or collisions when you've got a back like Jordan Howard or tight ends who can carry the ball, or even offensive line. Just stop giving it to Wentz on 4th and 1. There does seem to be a bit of discussion now about Carson Wentz and how good or bad he was. Of course, he had that one electrifying play where he became Houdini for the 93rd time in his playing career, but then there are a few others, or what I would call like meat left on the bone, and I think after discussing this with Thomas in our post-game stream yesterday, it just felt a bit vanilla from the offense. They weren't having to go out and utterly dominate and run a lot of long developing route concepts because it's the Jets. The Jets can't do anything on offense. The only time they scored was when Corey Clement literally fumbled the ball again and put them in field position when they scored on a trick play. So it's hardly like they're going out there and decimating opponents. The Eagles knew going into it, if the defense could hold their own, which I know that's a shaky thought, that they'd be able to win. And they don't need to go out there and tire people out. That's why Josh McCown came into the game on the 4th quarter. And overall, I just felt the game had a pre-season vibe to it. The Eagles knew that this was essentially a potential letdown spot. They could have gone in and blew them out and made a 50-burger on them, but there's no need to at this point. You're coming off an exhilarating win against the Packers. Just go in, get the job done. You've got your identity now. You've finally established Jordan Howard as your bell cow back. Just move the ball where you have to. You're still short-handed on offense without Deshaun Jackson. Get it done, and it's as simple as that. There's no real reason to be concerned here. The game is very contextual. There will be some knee-jerk reactions of some saying, well, we have to take everything in this game with a pinch of salt because of the nature of the game, and there is some truth to that, but there's also some myth to it, and I think this is certainly one of those things. The offense may have looked bad, or they may have been held by penalties where there were 9, which again is a pave low on Modern Warfare 2. They had 9, so that's going well. But while there are things to clean up, it's just one of those things. But is there any better Sunday than an Eagles win and a Cowboys loss? Because I just don't think there is. So I've got a nice cup of tea, which isn't British tea, it's some weird herbal thing, but we're going to sip it anyway. Pinkies out, ladies and gentlemen. That's really hot. That actually tastes disgusting. Right, so putting that down. Let's talk about defense, because I think this is an area where there is naturally a lot of discussion right now, and people seeing Brandon Graham's new career high in sacks. He also had a monumental 10 sacks in the game. 10 in one game. It got to a point where Deshaun Hall, who has barely been active throughout his entire career, got a sack. Josh Sweat got a sack. Orlando Scandrick got 2, and Brandon Graham got 3. So fair play, boys. You run Luke Fogg ragged there. You had 17 quarterback hits, But I think this is just going to lead to, does coverage lead to sacks, or was it a bad offensive line? Do the Eagles still need help at defensive end or defensive tackle? Fletcher Cox didn't get a sack, which I think a few people are a bit like, wow, really? If Deshaun Hall can get one and Vinny Curry's doing everything but, Fletcher Cox, really? Okay, fine, it is what it is. Even Hassan Ridgway got himself on the board with a sack, so there's that. I don't know what's going on behind me. Is that a helicopter, maybe? I don't know. Very weird. But the one player who stood out to me, and the guy I genuinely believe is the Eagles' MVP this season so far, we did a film room on him last week, you know it's going to be Rodney McLeod. Comes up, makes a big time interception. I actually tied Brandon Graham for team lead in tackles, so he extends his run as the team leader in solo tackles, and just what a season he's having. I said it in the film room roulette months ago, that if Graham performs even as half as well as he did in those opening 3 games of last season, then the Eagles are going to be very well off. They're going to have a very good safety on their hands. And after last week's film room, I was very excited, and now I'm jumping around like a kangaroo on acid. It is an exceptional level of play that we're seeing here from Rodney McLeod, and one that I really hope continues, because he really is gluing that secondary together right now. You've got Craig James up there who's barely played, Orlando Scandrick in his first game since the end of last year, and then Rasul Douglas. It's a young cornerback group. They're prone to giving up errors. We've seen that time and time again. The first 2 plays of the game, we saw a holding call on Craig James and then the missed tackle. So it wasn't like a good start, but Rodney McLeod was the guy keeping all the guys meshing together. So massive shout to Rodney McLeod. Who do you guys think is the Eagles MVP of the season so far? I genuinely believe it's Rodney McLeod. I can't think. Obviously make the statement and it's Carson Wentz. He's still yet to throw an interception. He's got 10 touchdowns. He's playing well in the pocket. He's carried that offense back from the dead. But to me, if it hadn't been for Rodney McLeod in certain situations, the Eagles wouldn't even be in a position where Wentz can lead them out of hell and back, because the gap would have been too deep. So, I don't know, just my take on it, but it'll be between Wentz and McLeod. At least defensive MVP. Let's not cause any World War IIIs just yet, alright? And one final mention to Orlando Scandrick, who in his first game back had 2 forced fumbles, 2 sacks, and what I'm calling a strip 6. Which does sound like a very good Saturday night, but it was a very good Sunday afternoon for Scandrick, who came away with a touchdown after ripping the ball out of Luke Falk's hands. Like, we know how good Scandrick can be. He had 13 passes defensed last year. He's a veteran. He's been around the league since 2009. He spent the offseason with the Eagles and was released, I think, with the conditional agreement with Harry Roseman that he would be brought back. He comes back, blows up and makes a statement. So a massive shout there to Orlando Scandrick. What a day at the office he had. On to the Philadelphia Flyers, and I don't want to give too much away because it will be all recapped in the vlog, but as you can see, I'm in Prague, so here is a little preview of what to expect from that vlog.
Tak to je napíš.
Anyway, the team opened their season with a win over Chicago, and that is literally all I'm going to say on it, because the rest of it gets discussed in the vlog, and I don't want to ruin it. And that comes out tomorrow. So tomorrow, Tuesday, you can find out what I've been up to over the last 5 days or so. Even if you're not a Flyers fan, it would be amazing if you could check it out, because I hope there's some good content in there for you. And yeah, we'll see what you think. The Sixers had a preseason scrimmage against the Delaware Bluecoats, where of course the main conversation was Ben Simmons and his 3-point shot, which is getting a bit tiresome right now, isn't it? Like, is there nothing more exciting to talk about than Ben Simmons and a 3-point shot? He's sick of talking about it. I'm sick of hearing it. Like, I don't know why it keeps coming up, if I'm honest. Like, there is genuinely nothing more that seems to get clicks than the words Ben Simmons and 3-point shot. It is the equivalent of Kylie Jenner and Travis Scott right now. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, can we not find something else? Like, what? The Phillies... Not gonna go into that really. They did change pitching coach though, so they made an immediate change, although it does look like Kapler's going to be staying around, so you win some, you lose some. And the Philadelphia Union fell at the final hurdle, which is a real shame. A season finale to Columbus, it was all to play for, they didn't, but they make the postseason. So amidst a late season collapse, they will be in the playoffs. I think it starts October 20th, if I'm not mistaken. But obviously, you can find out ticketing information over at the Philadelphia Union website. But make sure you're going along to that game, because it'll be a lot of fun against the New York Red Bulls. That is it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. It really does mean the world to me. I hope you'll stick around and watch the vlog tomorrow. I'm excited to drop it. There's a lot of content in there. From my trip in Prague, there's boats, there's me with a hockey stick, and of course there's chats about the Philadelphia Flyers as well. So thank you for tuning in. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Liam Jenkins PSN. I'll see you soon, alright?